in, everybody, to On Texas Football special episode. Kosi Okpala getting ready to make a decision right now. We'll bring him in. This is a linebacker out of Katy Matey Creek.
Here today without him and how he's guided me throughout this whole process and all that. I want to say thank you to my mom and my sister. My mom taught me what it means to be a hard worker, to be very determined and to keep pushing through adversity. I'd like to thank my sister, who sacrificed a lot, brought me and put me in the best position to win in life, to conquer every obstacle I needed to conquer. I'd like to thank my coaches and my trainers throughout this journey in football. I'd like to thank Coach Arrow, Coach Deal, Coach Jensen, Coach Wilson, Coach Watt, Coach Bobineau, Coach Baggs, Coach Davidson, Coach Zimmer, Coach Washington, Coach Brown, Coach Shiloh, all y'all boys who's out here right now. I'd like to thank my teammates in the school for supporting me, helping uplift me. Even in this district, to play in a great district like this means a lot. I'm glad to come to Matey Creek and, prove my talent and prove others who doubted me wrong. I want to say thank you to my counselors for letting me graduate early, letting me achieve these goals and accomplish these things that's going to ultimately help me in the future. And with that, our glory to God. So with that being said, I'd like to announce my commitment to the University of Texas.
There we go. Kosi Okpala is a Texas Longhorn. Congratulations to the young man. He's going to take questions now. We'll talk to him in a second as well, but that should be fun. Congratulations to him. Jeff, this linebacker commitment, first one for Texas in the 2026 recruiting class. It's been long awaited and expected that he would choose the Longhorns. Jerry Hamilton down there live for us. He'll be coming on and joining us as well. But you've seen the film of Kosi Okpala. What do you think of the young man?
First off, great that Texas is on the board in the month of July. So let's get that out of the way. Texas needed one. I think too, Bobby, CJ and I talked a lot about this on the channel. These recruitments where Texas had the lead or has been the perceived leader, or, a kid has come out and said Texas is the leader, they needed to get one of these across the finish line. So it's great that they got that done today with Kosi Okpala. I think it says a lot that when Johnny Nansen first got to Texas, first got on the job, this was the first prospect that he went and saw, that he targeted Kosi Okpala. And you look at the skill set, Bobby, kind of the modern day outside linebacker. When you think about an off-ball outside linebacker in college football, does have the ability to rush the passer, does play violently downhill, but he's long, he's lean, he can play in space. So a fit for Texas schematically, a fit with his talent level. And again, man, I think everybody could breathe a little easier now that Texas got one across the finish line that they really needed to get done.
They did need to get it done because this is another front seven defensive player. We've talked about it. Texas focusing on the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage, the front seven on defense in particular. That is where, they've had a lot of guys drafted in the NFL the last couple of years. That is what they're trying to replenish and keep going forward in the SEC. It is a line of scrimmage conference. We'll have more from Kosi as well as from a couple of his coaches, Jerry Hamilton on site momentarily. Kosi Okpala becomes the 16th verbal commitment for the Longhorns as well in this recruiting class, following up on commitments from Richard Wesley almost 10 days ago now. The Longhorns now will await not only Kosi Okpala's decision today is made, but two from tomorrow in offensive lineman John Turntine, a big tackle out of North Crowley, state champions, as well as Felix Ojo, also from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex too. So this could be a little bit of a run of 4th of July fireworks, so to speak, for the University of Texas and their recruiting efforts. Jeff, we talked about this and you mentioned it. We've had Rashad Bobineau, the former Texas linebacker, on the show before talking about Kosi Okpala. And I think people that heard him speak just now understand that they're getting a well-rounded student athlete out of Kosi Okpala as well. He's not just a football player. He's a guy that's going to try to be the best, very best he can be as well.
That last clip we saw in the highlights of getting through the wash, making a play from behind, not just getting the angle on the running back, but getting in front of him. That's the athleticism and everything, but that's a great hustle play. I'm glad as Kosi's with us right now, I'm glad he put that on the highlight tape, because that's when the sacks are great. We all love that, but man, I'm glad that hustle play made it on the highlight tape.
All right, let's bring in, talk to the man himself right now. How you doing, Kosi? Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Doing good.
We just heard the live announcement here. You're a Texas Longhorn. Describe the process and ultimately why you chose the University of Texas, buddy.
Just love the coaches. Been recruiting me for a long time. Just love the relationship over there. Just a great fit, best opportunity to play. And yeah.
Kosi,
go ahead, Jeff.
Kosi, we see you play, but anybody that hasn't seen you play, how would you describe your playing style? Number one, and number two, anybody in college, the NFL that you look at and try to emulate, maybe take pieces of their game to add to yours.
I'll describe my play style as fast. Try to be smartest person on the field at all times. So I think that helps too, and just fast and violent. So yeah.
Hey, Kosi, you've been labeled by different recruiting services as an edge, as an outside linebacker, as an inside linebacker. And so certainly some versatility to your game. What do you see yourself as long-term in football? Is it outside linebacker, inside, or where do you see yourself playing?
Versatile right now. Really see myself, if I get to the league, really see myself coming off the edge majority of the time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You made like 30 plus tackles for loss in your first 2 years on varsity. So you get in the backfield quite a lot. Is that the strength of your game? What is it? Your quickness, your speed, your toughness? What is it that you think is maybe a little bit different from other folks in football right now?
Yeah, I think you said it too. I'm just blessed to be able to play in the backfield a lot. So I think having that skill set is important, in changing pivotal ties of the game. So being able to get to the backfield and make sacks, get fumbles and all that, I think that helps a lot. So yeah.
Kosi, we were talking as you joined us. We were looking at your highlights, and again, I'm maybe the play that stands out the most is the play against Katy, where you kind of get through the trash a little bit and then catch the back about 40 yards down the field. You get an angle on him. Where, in terms of effort, heart, not giving up, where does that come from? Who instilled that in you to play with a motor like that all the time?
Definitely my mom. I'd say just putting in work throughout the season. You feel me? Just going 100% full speed. Pride myself on play fast, have fun, and fear nobody. So you just got to play fast all the time, and yeah.
One of the things that Jerry Hamilton has told us about you is that you're a real film junkie. How does that play into what are you? Do you describe yourself as a film junkie, and how do you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, I do watch a lot of film. Want to go into every week knowing your opponent. I hate being surprised on the field. I hate seeing something new. So I think film helps a lot with that. And yeah, I definitely think that helps me a lot.
Kosi, as far as the connections to Texas go, talk about your family ties to Texas, specifically Brian Arakpo. I know there's a tie there. How long has Texas been on your mind as a school that you've thought about?
Texas has always been a great school. And then I do got family ties with Brian Arakpo. So, and then it's close to home. I think this decision was just based off of best opportunity to play for real. And just best, I believe in Coach PK to put me in the best position to succeed. So, yeah.
Interesting. I could speak with Kosi Okpala, the newest Texas Longhorn, one of 16 verbal commitments. Kosi, we got a new graphic I want to put up here for you, just so you can see it. It's got you on the bottom left, buddy. I'm trying to find it. Where did the commitments go? Here it is. Look at this right here for you, buddy. You're on the bottom left. You're one of 16. What do you think about this recruiting class? Do you know some of those guys?
Yeah, I know a lot of them. Met Dia and Chris Stewart and Jermaine Bishop and all of them. But I like the class. I feel like the biggest thing with this class, we got a lot of hitters. So just having people who are willing to come down and hit and, ready to go, I feel like that's going to take us to new heights. And yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned actually a few other Houstonians or guys that are from the Houston area. That's an area that Texas has tried to get better and better at. And now you join not only yourself, but you mentioned Jermaine Bishop out of Willis, Chris Stewart out of Pearland, Nicholas Robertson over at Klein. Texas doing quite well down there. Katie has not always been kind to the University of Texas, but you're getting out there and going to be a Longhorn. We congratulate you very much, man, and wish you and yours nothing but the best. And keep taking after your mom. It sounds like you got an idea there, bud, of how to make things happen for yourself.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, hook 'em horns, dude. That's Kosi Okpala. We'll talk to Jerry Hamilton and maybe a couple of Kosi's coaches here in a little bit as well. But that's a big time pickup for the Texas Longhorns. Linebacker Kosi Okpala. Jeff seems like a nice young man too.
Yeah. It's interesting you brought it up there, Bobby. Really kind of Katy ISD, Fort Bend ISD. You put it mildly that those parts of Houston have not always been kind to Texas, but it's not. Texas going to get Cade Phillips out of Hightower last year. It's nice to see Texas getting into Katy ISD, getting Fort Bend ISD, and not just getting talented guys, Bobby, but guys that have some upside too.
Yep. Here we are, joined now by Jerry Hamilton, Jeff Howe, myself. I think you've got Donnie Baggs with you there. Who it is, the former A&M linebacker who is a trainer down in the Houston area these days?
Yeah, I've been doing this business so long. I covered this guy in high school, I think. He remembers me coming by Clear Springs. But, yeah, Donnie, he's trained Jonah Williams, Kosi, a few guys at Texas now. So I'm turning it over to you guys to talk about that. But first of all, Donnie, what is Texas getting in Kosi? Obviously, you've trained him for a while.
Man, they're getting a hell of a versatile athlete, man. He's a smart, physical, violent at the point of attack, can cover ground, can play in space, can pretty much do anything you ask him at the linebacker position. So I think, man, they're getting a complete package when it comes to a linebacker. They can play the game exactly the way you want them to play it.
One of the things, Donnie, I appreciate you joining us, man. One of the things I noticed with Kosi, he plays like a smaller player, like he's lanky and long and quick, but he's really big. And that usually means he's got some more growing to do. He's 6'2", 227 right now, he said. Where do you think he's going to eventually end up at size-wise? Because, man, he plays like he's 195. And I mean that in a positive way because he's flying around, you know what I mean? How big do you think he'll eventually get?
Man, I think he could definitely with the development and, getting in the weight room at Texas and stuff, I definitely think he can put on some more size. But he's just like that new age linebacker, man, that's just so versatile that can do a variety of different things, right? You want him to line up on the edge, he can line up on the edge. You want him to play some off ball, he can play off ball. You want him to rush the passer, he can rush the passer. You want him to drop back in coverage, he can do that too. So I think it's the sky's the limit with his skill set and his versatility. And I think like the more he just develops, the better he's going to get on the field.
Donnie, talk about he's a film junkie. Not a lot of guys are film junkies. They have to learn how to watch film. When did you kind of grasp that? Okay, this kid really studies the game.
Yeah, just from just our conversations, man. I would just every week I always kind of talk with my guys like, hey, who y'all got this week? How's everything going? What do they like to do? What do they like to line up in? Where can you make plays? Where can you impact the game? And for him, it's just he would always talk like, oh man, I'm gonna have a really good week this week. They like to do this. They like to line up in these personnel settings. I should have a big game. So he's smart, man. He's a very, very smart player, and it shows like on film when he plays because he's so disruptive and he's making plays and he's damn near unblockable sometimes. So yeah, man, he's always on the film in the film room, just studying, giving himself that advantage so he can go out there and be a dynamic player, which he's done for the last 3 years.
Donnie, I want to go back to something you mentioned a minute ago, talking about the modern day off-ball linebacker. You played it in the SEC. You watched it now. How have you seen the off-ball linebacker position evolve in the SEC, and how does that impact the kids you're training and what you're teaching them about what they need to be able to do and know at the next level?
That's a good question, man. That's a really good question. Yeah, man. So I think I put out a tweet like about some months ago when the draft was coming on, and just basically talking about the modern off-ball linebacker. Right? It's size, speed, length, right? Athleticism, all those things, right? So you want to be able to, you want to be able to be physical, right? That's the linebacker position. You have to be physical. But at the same time, you got to be able to move, right? You got to be able to operate in space. You got to be able to cover ground, sideline to sideline. You got to be able to have a tool belt when you're rushing the passer, right? You got to be able to keep yourself on the field all 3 downs, right? That's the biggest thing I kind of preach to my guys is you want to be a 3-down backer. You don't want to be a first down, second down guy. You want to be able to have some type of skill set where either on 3rd down you can cover a running back out the backfield, or you can line up on a tackle or line up mugged up over a guard and win a one-on-one matchup and go get to the quarterback. So a lot of that goes into my training when I'm talking to the guys like, hey, be that person that doesn't come off the field, never comes off the field, impact the game because you're the quarterback of the defense as a linebacker. So if you can carry all those skill sets into linebacker play, it just makes you more dynamic on the field. So that's kind of the things that I kind of talk to them about and kind of teach them about as like at our training sessions and things like that.
So I got one question left for Donnie. So obviously you were on this live stream when Jonah committed last year too.
Yeah.
You're like the favorite A&M fan for A&M player for Texas fans at this point. But what about Jonah in his now that he's getting acclimated back in the football? Kind of what are your thoughts on Jonah? I know you've talked to him and kind of his process now.
Yeah, man. Jonah's just an elite competitor, man. He's going to rise to the occasion. You know, me and Jerry were talking off live earlier, and he's getting acclimated real well, you know, just based off our conversations. He's doing really good. And just like how he did with baseball, man, I think he's going to impact the football field just like how he did in the baseball diamond. You know, Texas knows what they're getting in them. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Like as much as I don't want to say it, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing those boys thrive out on the field, man. So like, I'm proud of the guys, man. They work hard. They've earned this, man. And it's just good. It's good to be a part of it, honestly.
You think Jonah, because Jonah sat in on some safety meetings in the spring, but obviously he was in baseball. What's in front of him in terms of picking up the scheme and the system, do you think?
I think just being dedicated to it, you know, just staying in that film room, you know, asking questions, leaning on the upperclassmen that are in the room, like Taff and things like that. Those are always things I just preach to my guys, man. Like, hey, be a film room junkie, learn the playbook, study the playbook. Often the physical, like if you weren't physically gifted, you wouldn't be there, right? So the physical part aspect of it, you got to get a little bit better at it. But the more you approach the game mentally, the more it slows down for you and the more you're able to kind of get out there and do your thing. So that's kind of been just like the constant talk with them, man. Like, hey, just keep getting that playbook, keep picking that up, keep picking that stuff up. And then when you're out there on the field, just do you. Be Jonah Williams.
All right, that's Donnie Baggs. We're going to let him get back to the celebration. We're going to bring in a position.
No, Donnie. No, you got it wrong way.
He's gotta do it. I told him he could do it. I told Donnie he could do his thing.
There you go. I think it's okay, given that the Longhorns just won one in Kosi Okpala. I think Jerry's bringing in another guest right now for us that has some relationship to Kosi. Jerry, introduce the next person we're going to talk to.
This is Coach Wilson, position coach at Maid Creek of Kosi. So I'll let you guys fire away questions.
Yeah, Coach, we talked to Rashad Bobineau before, his former defense coordinator and former Longhorn player. Tell us what Texas is getting in Kosi Okpala.
Oh, man, they're getting a premier athlete. That's for one, I would say. I don't know if Coach Bobineau mentioned, but Kosi watched a lot of film, man. He's going to be someone who stayed academic standards books. Football wise, he's going to be someone he want to learn the techniques. He want to learn, what the opposing team do, and he put a lot of work in, studying film. So that's the biggest thing. And like Coach Baggs mentioned, he's versatile. He can rush off the edge. He can be he can be outside linebacker, middle linebacker. He's a very good communicator. On the edge, he still have, even though he's with me on the edge, he still have that Mike mindset where he's communicating to the secondary, he's communicating to the linebackers, D-line. So no, they're getting a great competitor. Of course, yeah, you see his film. He's elusive, he's physical, but the side that people don't see is he does put a lot of work in outside of football, and he does watch a lot of film. So that's one thing I want to share.
One thing I wanted you to speak to is his maturity. He seems like a really mature young guy. I mean, it's been in the business a long time. We kind of see the differences, right?
Yeah, no, that's one thing I would say, his mature level of like how he go about his business. And like I said, he wanted so much that like the way he go about his things, the way he helps working, like even this week when I opened the field, working with the younger guys, that the level of maturity he have of like the understanding that, hey, it's not only about me. And I remember because when he first came in, because I'm also the strength conditioning coach, so I remember when he first came in and the weight where he's at now, just from a physical maturity, like the kid squats over 500 pounds, power clean squat, like he's a workhorse. Like that kid is a workhorse. But no, for his maturity, he's a very mature. Texas is getting a very mature guy. He joke around a little bit, but no, he's really about his business, and that's one thing that I can attest to.
I had something for you, Coach. And Donnie Baggs was talking about this earlier, and you can see it on film. And Kosi mentioned that Pete Kwiatkowski recruited him a lot, kind of as a hybrid linebacker, et cetera. The question I have, and our Rod Babers talks about it all the time, is the ability for defensive players to play positionless football. And what that means is he can kind of morph, and one time he's an inside linebacker, the next time you're bringing Anthony Hill off the edge, and those kind of – is that kind of – does Kosi – he sounds like he fits that model based on what you and others have talked about him as.
Oh yes, he definitely embodies that it's the modern era of football. Like that's why if you look at the past linebackers that went in their draft, like most of them can play on the edge, dating back to the guys. I'm an LSU guy, but I only could think of Jones, like all those smaller back linebackers that can rush off the edge and drop in coverage, and he definitely fits that mold, and he's phenomenal off the edge. And Kosi has played outside linebacker for us early on in his younger days, and he played some Mike last year. So I think he definitely fits that modern era linebacker. Back in the day, of course, you have your Ray Lewis, where those are bigger guys, but he definitely fits that scheme of positionless football. And he actually one game he was actually back at safety, so we had him drop back at safety, so and he got a PBU, so he was very excited about that. But no, he definitely fits the modern day linebacker of positionless football. He can do everything, and like I say, as a safety, communicating, as a linebacker, communication is the key to football, especially modern day. So he does that really well. So that's one thing I wouldn't be worried about with Kosi Okpala.
Coach, just real quick, we talked about all the things that make Kosi a great player, the work ethic and everything like that. How does that show up as far as a strength conditioning component in the weight room? Not just what he can put up, as far as maxes and things like that, but just knowing his way around the weight room, how to conduct himself in there.
Oh yes, definitely. And it's not, like I said, it's not all about the weight to me exactly, because I care about, I'm a technician. It's about the way he go about things. Like I said, that character, the way you go about it, and the way you impact others, because of course he's one of the strongest kids we have, but it's the way how he pushes teammates. That's what I look at. Like, of course you're the strongest, but what are you bringing out of other people? And it goes back to that maturity thing. Like, that's one thing I think that, like, he's so mature in the way he go about it and move around the weight room that he bring his teammates with him. Like, right now we have a 28 freshman tight end that he's like, they're in the weight room going at it, and like, that's what you kind of want out of your upcoming senior, to bring somebody with you. And that's the biggest thing, is like, okay, you got yours, but like, what are you doing to, help others and bring others along with you? And that's one thing I can say he does in the weight room. Our head coach does a great job of pushing that as well. Our guys definitely been in the weight room, and Kosi is a catalyst to that as well.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations to your star player. Man, that's always a good feeling when you're a coach and you have somebody go on and see them reach their dreams. So congratulations to you, and thanks for everything you do, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you
very much.
Jerry, if you'll stay with it for a sec, just to sum this up, boom, I guess is the best way to put it. Longhorns finally break through a little bit today with a commitment from Kosi Okpala, linebacker out of Katie's Maney Creek. They're now at 16 commitments. In your opinion, Jerry, where does this put the Texas Longhorn recruiting group right now? Because when I look at it, and what we've talked about is they needed to have a good week this week, that this gets it started for the Longhorns.
Yeah, it definitely does. And obviously, just another, I'm sure you guys have talked about it. It's another Houston area kid, and I think Steve Sarkisian and staff have made a point of that. Especially, after the 22 class where Texas A&M was dominant in the Houston area. Now it's becoming more of a battleground in these last couple of classes. But look, tomorrow's another big day, potentially. I mean, there's Felix Ojo's announcing, John Turntine's announcing. So we'll see where those go tomorrow. And then, what's left, what remains for Texas. But I think this was a big get for Texas. Kosi, we talk about it all the time. And as long as we've been doing this stuff, you read kids that you get a read on kids that would be really good fits in programs. Kosi Okpala comes across to me a lot like Cohen Brown did. And that's kind of the best compliment I can give a kid is, it's one thing to be a really talented player, but what's your fit? And how do you fit into a culture? How do you fit into a culture that's winning and has really high expectations right now? And I think everybody I've talked to around Kosi, the way he works, where he's at in film study as a young player is really impressive to me because a lot of times the guys who really become film junkies don't start until college. But he is already that guy now.
Yeah. Could be some thanks, Jerry, for your coverage today. I think everybody loves it whenever we're on site like this kind of stuff. Kind of brings it into their living room, you know what I mean? Could be some fireworks on the 4th for the Longhorns. Jerry mentioned Felix Ojo and John Turntine announced tomorrow. Turntine, one of the nation's top offensive tackles. Felix Ojo, also a big tackle / just a big prospect in general, big human. All right, that'll do it. Jeff Howe, you have any final thoughts before we let people go here on Kosi Okpala, the newest Texas Longhorn?
Two things I love the most about what we heard from Coach Wilson and from Donnie Baggs. Coaches love it when your best players are your hardest workers. And when you've got those guys that are willing to do whatever it takes to elevate others around them and bring them with them. So Jerry couldn't have said it better from a football character standpoint, from a culture standpoint, on top of the fact that he's a really good player. This is exactly the kind of kid Sark has been recruiting that's gotten Texas back to this point.
All right, that's going to do it. Special thanks not only to Jerry Hamilton, but all the folks there at Maney Creek High School that made that a possibility for us, as well as our producer behind the scenes, Matt Hutchison, coordinating all of that for us today. We'll be back a little bit later today. We've got the 3 o'clock live stream, Winning Drive, Rod Babers, CJ Vogel, and Bob Shipley will be on with you guys. Also have football theory later tomorrow as well. For Jeff Howe, I'm Bobby Burton, and Kosi Okpala, one last word, buddy. Hook 'em horns.